Joseph Campbell once said, "A hero is someone who has given his or her life to something bigger than oneself." This quote illustrates that anyone can be a hero, but veterans are the most significant heroes because they dedicate their lives to protect their country. A veteran is anyone who has served or is serving in the military. Veterans Day was originally called Armistice Day. The holiday was originally created to honor World War I soldiers, but in 1954, President Dwight D. Eisenhower renamed it Veterans Day to honor all veterans that are alive. The holiday is celebrated on November 11th, but from 1971 to 1975, it was celebrated on the fourth Monday in October. I think everyone should honor veterans all year instead of just on November 11th. All American veterans deserve to be honored on Veterans Day because they are flexible, mentally tough, and brave. There are many reasons why veterans should be honored, but one reason they should is because they are flexible. One example of how they are flexible is because they have to move a lot. If they get used to a place, eventually they will have to move. Also, they have to adjust to different living conditions. If they're from Florida, they might have to go to Alaska. They're not used to the coldness. It might take a while before they adjust. Before they fully adjust, they will probably have to move again. For example, there's a lady named Carol. She was born in Southern California in 1924. In November of 1944, she was sent to a boot camp in New York. Carol was from sunny California, so she never experienced very cold winters. They told her to bring a warm coat. She bought a little thin coat because that's what they called a warm coat in California. She wasn't used to such harsh winters. The weather was as cold as a dog's nose. It was so cold, she thought she was going to die. Also, veterans have to miss important life events. They have to sacrifice missing birthdays, holidays, anniversaries, and in some cases, their child's birth. You have to give up so much to protect this country. I am amazed by all the amazing things veterans do. In summary, these are some reasons why veterans are flexible. Veterans are mentally tough and have to go through a lot, so they should be respected. One example of how they are tough is they have to go through a lot. To elaborate, veterans have to deal with their friends dying and not seeing their families for long periods of time. Also, at least 50% of veterans develop mental health issues from the military. Once there was this veteran. After serving in the military, he developed post-traumatic stress disorder, also known as PTSD. He had night terrors every night. This caused him to have daily anxiety attacks. He didn't sleep for 4 days because he knew he would get flashbacks. Every day he woke up afraid and empty. He took numerous prescription drugs every day, hoping not to wake up the next day. It took 2 failed suicide attempts to for him to get help. I believe veterans should get help automatically after they come out of the military. This would help people like Kona. They wouldn't have to suffer in silence. Because of their ability to be mentally tough, veterans should be respected. Finally, bravery is one of the most important things that all soldiers have. One example of their bravery is they have a risk of dying every day. They are probably at least a little scared, but they have to overpower the fear so they can do their job. Also, they have to be brave to go to foreign countries they've never been to. This makes them brave because they don't know what to expect. If they've never been there, they probably know very little about the country. Also, things could go wrong at any moment. You could be sitting there and all of a sudden you could die. One example, there's this lady named Julie. She was a Coast Guard. One night, she was on the watch and the entire ship shut down. Julie says, it's interesting when you're on a ship with all that noise and all of a sudden it goes silent in the dark of night. You think, something happened. This is wrong. It's creepy. She had to be brave and not freak out about it. It takes a lot of bravery to be in the military. In conclusion, bravery is one of the many qualities that soldiers has. As you can see, there are many reasons why veterans should be honored and respected. They dedicate their lives to protect our country. They are true heroes. I have a deep respect for how veterans are adjustable, strong-minded, and courageous like a lion. 3 reasons why. Lee Greenwood once said, "And I'm proud to be an American where at least I know I'm free, and I won't forget the men who died who gave that right to me." Who are veterans? Veterans are people who have or are serving in the military. There are 5 branches that veterans can serve in. They are the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, and Coast Guard. Veterans deserve to be honored and respected because they are committed, loyal, and courageous. One reason why I think veterans should be honored and respected is because they are committed. Veterans are committed because they protect us from wars and they don't give up. They always fight for our freedom and they never stop and not care about other people. They always have other people on their own minds. Another way is because they are risking their own lives while thinking about everyone else. Although veterans know that they might die, that does not stop them from doing anything that could help us. Lastly, veterans are missing out on a lot of time with their own family. One example of this is that they might miss their children growing up. You don't know how painful this could be, but veterans might not see their children's first steps. They might not be at their kid's first birthday party. Some children probably never got to meet their mom or dad because they died, risking their lives for us. Some people don't pay attention to veterans and do not honor them, but I know that the veterans are fighting for us. Veterans have many risks when they go on the battlefield, but they know that they won't go down without a fight. This shows that veterans are committed because they have all these things in their life that they are risking, but they still choose to help us. Additionally, I think veterans deserve to be honored and respected because they are loyal. Veterans are loyal because they always keep everyone safe and make sure nobody gets hurt. One example of this is if they see someone lying on the battlefield injured, they won't just walk past them and act like they didn't see them. They will help them get to safety. Even when the soldier does not like the other person, they won't leave them to die. They will help them get to safety. Another reason veterans are loyal is because they don't just quit when they are hurting. They keep fighting and they don't give up. An example of this is when soldiers are hurt or even shot, they won't give up. They will keep fighting for our freedom. My last reason why veterans are loyal is because they volunteer themselves to fight for us. And they don't think about their own lives because they want to make sure that everyone else is safe. Lastly, veterans are loyal because there used to be something called a draft when people didn't have a choice to go to the military. These days, people choose to be in the military and they are not drafted. This shows how veterans are loyal because they never leave a team member behind and they choose to be in the military. Veterans are no longer forced to be in the military. Veterans are loyal for multiple reasons, and that shows how kind they are and how they would never leave a soldier behind. Lastly, I think veterans deserve to be honored and respected because they are very courageous. Veterans are courageous because they fight all the time, and even though this can mess up their future, they still fight for us. They fight for us, they don't fight for fame. Even when people are on the battlefield, they are thinking about other lives and not about when they will get home and how they will have fame at home. Another reason why veterans are courageous is because they always fight against everyone, even when they think they can't defeat them. Even when it is rough, they never give up, and that always keeps us safe. One example of this is when they are shot or wounded, they won't give up. They will keep going and push themselves, even though it is hard. Veterans never give up, they always fight. Although this might make it so they might take their lives when they get home, they know the risks they are taking. They might have trouble with depression or money. I think that we should do anything we can to help our veterans get through the hard times in their lives. In conclusion, veterans deserve to be honored and respected because they are committed, loyal, and courageous. Veterans are committed because they never give up and they keep fighting. They are loyal because they help anyone who is injured on the battlefield. One reason veterans are courageous is because they go on the battlefield knowing that they could die, but they still fight for us. Jeff Miller once said, "The willingness of America's veterans to sacrifice for our country has earned them our lasting gratitude. I will never forget what veterans have done for us, and I will never stop caring about veterans."
George Orwell once said, We sleep peacefully in our beds at night only because rough men stand ready to do violence on our behalf. Veterans are the people who have served in their armed forces for their country. The purpose of Veterans Day is to honor all of those who have served in the military. It is celebrated on November 11th every year. Veterans Day was formerly known as Armistice Day. People usually celebrate it by having parades. Veterans deserve to be honored and respected because they are not only the heroes of our country, but also selfless, courageous, and knowledgeable. The men and women who serve in our military are the most selfless people you will ever come across. With all these people sacrificing their relationships with their family, friends, job, all to serve in the military and protect our freedoms. Even whilst knowing they might pay the ultimate price of giving their life. Gordon Craig decided for his fellow men to land on a grenade, saving his comrades. It costed him his life. He won the Medal of Honor, the highest honor in the military, but he didn't do it for the glory, he did it because it was the right thing. Raul Gutierrez is another great example. While serving in Iraq, he saved his sergeant by taking him out of a burning vehicle. That was hit by an improvised explosive device. Ronald Bradley, his sergeant, lost both an arm and a leg, but survived. Raul's selflessness was on full display to do what very few of us would do, and saved a man's life because of it. This year, people are fighting for their life, for their country, and even though you might not think of them, be like them when you have the chance. Be selfless, be kind, and helpful to anyone you can. What is something hard to find in people? One would be courage. Veterans, though, show moments of courage every day. In November of 1944 in France, Leonard was serving in a platoon while it was being attacked. The platoon was reduced just to 8 measly men by a multitude of things. Leonard led the rest of the men in a counter-attack over a tree and shrub-covered hill, which was covered in automatic enemy fire. Leonard killed 2 snipers at far distances. He disregarded enemy fire to engage and destroy a machine gun with rifle grenades, killing its 2-man crew. He would eventually complete his objectives. My great-granduncle Tony was a courageous soldier. He crossed a river when 2 soldiers were left behind. He went back and saved them both. Later, in December 1944, he used a rocket launcher to set a tank on fire, while the crew tried to escape the burning tank, he wounded or killed the entire crew. He would eventually die on that mission, but his courage won't be forgotten. Mike Penna is one of the best examples. His unit was being attacked when they staged a counterattack. He ordered a retreat once he realized that they were almost out of ammo. He manned the machine gun and fired at the enemy while the rest of the men were retreating. He completed by himself would hold the position until morning, when he was overrun by the enemy and was killed. Being courageous for your country to protect those around you is what all veterans have done for us, and we should be thankful. Knowledge is a powerful weapon that our veterans used when they were in the military. One thing that everyone in the military has to learn is the military alphabet. You use it to execute the orders you were given. All of the different letters are Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, Delta, Echo, Foxtrot, Golf, Hotel, India, Juliet, Kilo, Lima, Mike, November, Oscar, Papa, Quebec, Romeo, Sierra, Tango, Uniform, Victor, Whiskey, X-Ray, Yankee, and Zulu. It is incredible that our soldiers use these to get around potential spying by other nations, saving lives with just a simple alphabet. One thing that you have to know in what situation to use what piece of equipment, and keep all of the knowledge for the safety of you, your unit, and your country. Another example is the ability to perform under pressure, work with a team, and be a leader are all skills they have. This allows for all bravery they do for our country. If we ever decide to stop honoring them and all of the skills they have and use to protect us and our freedoms, it would be an outrage. When the moment comes, and you have done enough training, reading, and researching, that when something comes up, you should just do it. You don't have to be in a different country fighting a war. You can be anywhere. It is useful knowledge to have and use. Learning is never limited. So use your knowledge to help you, your unit, and your country, just like our veterans. The veterans of our nation deserve every compliment and bit of respect they get because they do so much for us. Selflessness is a quality you rarely find in someone. If it's pulling someone out of a burning car, falling on a grenade, or leaving your family for your country, veterans are selfless. Courage is the ability to do something that frightens one. It is necessary in the military, and many men and women who have given their lives and survived have shown this quality. Knowledge is a key skill for all to have, not just our veterans. But they have used it to our advantage. With all the things our veterans have accomplished to protect us, if we stop honoring those who have served, this wouldn't be a country. Instead, it would be a backward society of those who appreciate nothing.
The amazing American veterans. Our flag does not fly because the wind moves it. It flies with the last breath of each soldier who died protecting it. Author unknown. On Veterans Day, American veterans are honored with parades, ceremonies, and celebrations. This day, celebrated on November 11th, honors the 19 million retired veterans in our country, as well as the 1.1 million veterans who made the ultimate sacrifice. These soldiers served our wonderful nation and were not able to return home to their loved ones. Symbols such as the American flag represent their great sacrifices. Veterans Day is a time when all American veterans are honored and remembered these brave men and women. I believe that American veterans should be honored and respected because they are courageous, resilient, and diligent. Courage means you don't let fear stop you. Bethany Hamilton. An American veteran should be honored because of his or her great courage. Veterans have served in many places around the world. According to USA Today, countries such as Afghanistan, Somalia, Syria, and Yemen are hot spots of danger. Many U.S. troops were deployed to Afghanistan after the 9/11 terrorist attacks, as well as other dangerous countries in the Middle East. Throughout our years, veterans have deployed to dangerous countries facing unknown dangers along the way. Veterans have also displayed their courage in completing jobs that are dangerous, jumping out of airplanes, patrolling in areas where terrorists reside, and moving through areas where land-made bombs may be present and risky. Many veterans have made life or death decisions on a daily basis. They take a lot of courage to make this risky decision. The quote explains the bravery and courage the men and women take for their job in the military. That is why every veteran should be deserved and appreciated for their courage. Resilience determines what we do when we face difficulties. Do we allow ourselves to drown in difficult situations, or do we refuse to go under? Author unknown. Additionally, many individuals that were in the U.S. forces are resilient to get back on their feet. First, they deal with friends, family, and other fellow military members' deaths on the daily. Using their resilience, they get back on their feet and get back to business. Missing family time is being a part of the military members. They only see their family for 2.5 days a month, according to Sandbox US. Being away is hard for them to handle. My last example is traveling to many places can make them super homesick. The quote states that if you don't try to fight sadness, it will just make it worse. It will just make it worse for yourself. With the trauma they go through, veterans should be valued because of their resilient attitude about many situations people could handle. Work hard in silence, let your success be noisy. Frank Ocean. Lastly, U.S. military members are diligent and should be shown esteem for their efforts. First, military trained long hours to keep strong and ready for war or other incidents. From some research, the average training time per day for a military member is 12 to 16 hours a day. They work hard at training to keep in shape and ready for anything. My second example is the wake-up times and sleeping times are absolutely insane. According to combat.com, an early wake-up is 4:30 a.m. Sometimes they don't even get sleep at night. With their inconsistent sleeping schedules, they still work hard for those 12 to 16 hours to keep our country safe. Finally, the soldiers have super intense training to push through. According to mybase.com, Army training is really intense and demanding. With hard work, they can be ready for anything. The quote stated by Frank Ocean is that if you work hard, your future will be successful, even if you're unnoticed through your hard work. Even with the hard lifestyles in the Army, those diligent individual deserves esteem for. That is why I believe our courageous, resilient, and diligent American veterans should be appreciated and regarded. Fighting in dangerous places, never know where there is a trap, and making life or death decisions show the men and women that were in the military are courageous. Losing friends, family, and fellow military members away from home and moving shows how the U.S. veterans got back on their feet using their resilience. Lastly, working 12 to 16 hours a day, uneven sleep schedules, and intense training shows how diligent the individuals in the military are. Our flag does not fly because the wind moves it. It flies with the last breath of each soldier protecting it. Author unknown. This amazing quote indicates the reason our flag is still standing. Our brave, hardworking, and mentally tough deceased veterans use their life to protect our country's freedom.